born to be who she is. She's being who she is. She created her own lane. She's got her own style, her own unique voice, her own unique like trends, her own unique poses, that it kind of just seems like it happened like that. And that is because she's a manifesting generator. So hi everybody, I'm Sable Danielle, a human design coach and sound healer, and today I'm here to talk all about Ice Spice's human design and explain why she was destined to be famous. So if you don't know who Ice Spice is, first and foremost, have you been living under a rock? No, I'm just joking, but she is a rapper who has been like everywhere over the past year. She blew up off of this song Munch, and it kind of seems like she just popped up out of nowhere and beelined herself like straight to fame. And I wanted to look into her energy after watching an interview with Apple Music that she did, and just see what her energy was looking like. And so first and foremost, she is definitely exactly where she's supposed to be. She has a defined identity center, and that means that she was born to be who she is. She's being who she is. She created her own lane. She's got her own style, her own unique voice, her own unique like trends, her own unique poses that she makes look amazing just in her own way. And that just makes her her. That was one of the things that made her pop. Her sound, her songs, she just blew up off of TikTok. Like her dance moves, she really was just working, but it kind of just seems like it happened like that. And that is because she's a manifesting generator. So maybe if you think about becoming famous or becoming an influencer, you think that it may take like a super duper long time, but for Ice Spice it seemed like it just happened overnight. But for manifesting generators, that's kind of just how it is. They're very good at manifesting things. They have all the energy to exhaust within aligned work and doing aligned things in their aligned purpose. She has the energy to be herself, and with being a manifesting generator, it kind of seems like they have the ability to skip steps. Like they just naturally know what works and maybe what's not going to work, or they're able to sample different things throughout the process to determine what's going to work and what's not going to work pretty quickly. So it kind of seems like to other people or to the outside world that they have skip steps, and it makes their process seem a little bit faster. So first and foremost, I would say that Ice Spice, being a manifesting generator, is definitely in alignment with where she's at and how she seemed to land the role of where she's at right now. She created the lane that she's in. Also, she's just very impactful and very trendy, and manifesting generators often are. They're also very like unique and have their own energizing presence about themselves, which I would say Ice Spice definitely does. She has some personality that comes through when she's on stage or in her interviews or through her posts, her pictures. Also, if we're going to talk about why her energy is so triggering to people. So like I made a short the other day about Ice Spice's energy and just saying how she's destined to be like famous because of the definition in her chart. And that is one of the videos that I got like most of the comments and everything on. And I don't know, Ice Spice triggers people, but it is in her human design, so it makes sense. Also, that goes into her beef with like Latto as well. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. And I will tell you why she's in alignment with Doja Cat and why her career is in alignment with her human design. So first and foremost, like I said, Ice Spice is a manifesting generator, which means she's very influential, very unique. She's a woman who's committed to her goals and her ambitions. And I was watching the interview that she had with Apple Music, and that was one of the things that he mentioned about her, is that she's very committed to her art. And she definitely is. She was born to be committed to her art. And she was born to be committed to her goals. If this is what like truly feels good to her soul, then she's walking in her purpose, and this is what she's supposed to be doing. Her aura and energy is also very loud, and you can't really ignore it. It might trigger you. You either love her or hate her, or she like rubs you the wrong way, or you just like love everything about her, I guess. And I would say that definitely shows. I kind of just mentioned that I got a lot of comments, or I got some comments on one of my posts about Ice Spice, and some of the comments weren't the greatest, I guess I would say. And I see that a lot on social media, and I would just say that that's because of her defined it's because of her emotional solar plexus, but we're going to get into that in a second. So her emotional solar plexus is defined, and the emotional solar plexus center is huge on like creativity. It gives you your emotional awareness as well. It gives you the energy of your emotions. And so with her emotional solar plexus being defined, she has very intense emotions that may sometimes trigger people, which is why maybe her and Latto sometimes get into it or have this beef going back and forth. Maybe that's why people just don't like her presence, I guess. Her hair bothers them, the way she dances bothers them, her outfits bother them, whatever. They find some like really weak ass reason to like hate on somebody that they don't really know. And that's because of the energy that's coming out of her energy. That's because of the energy coming out of her emotional solar plexus center. It's just very strong, very intense, and it radiates. And especially for people who have undefined emotional solar plexus centers, it's going to trigger them even more. And so it would be interesting to see like what Latto's human design is. Maybe she has an undefined emotional solar plexus center. I don't know. We'll see. If I can find that, I'll pull it up and do a comparison. But having the defined emotional solar plexus, it means that since your emotions are so intense and so strong, that you do best with not identifying with them. And in Ice Spice's interview, she mentioned how she doesn't really care. She learned how to have like a thick skin regarding her performances and the feedback and comments that people would leave about her performances or her posts or whatever. And so now she just she's better at not caring, and she grew a thicker skin. And so that's one thing that would benefit her with having a defined emotional solar plexus center, to be able to just not identify with your emotions and take a step back. Like, yes, you can feel them and recognize that they're there, but you don't have to like sit in them and identify with them and say that just because I feel this way, that this is how it's always going to be. Also, energy coming from the emotional solar plexus center is very seductive and powerful and captivating. And you can say that that's all of those things that Ice Spice represents. She's pretty much like a sex symbol, not just for sex, but like she's beautiful, she's pretty, she shows her ass, she wears sexy oh my God. She wears sexy outfits, and the way she dances, just like everything. So that energy comes from her emotional solar plexus. She's very good at being seductive and captivating the audiences of people. She's very alluring. And so also some energy that comes from the emotional solar plexus center is seductive, captivating, alluring, powerful energy. And those are all energies that I believe Ice Spice has, from her posts to her songs to her pictures to her outfits. Like, she shows a lot of skin. She's very sexy. She's beautiful. She's cute. She captivates the audience, men and women, older people and younger people. And that stems from her emotional solar plexus center. The energy just protrudes, seductive, alluring, powerful, captivating. And that's a lot of what she represents. That's what her aura protrudes, in my opinion. So she also has a defined throat center, which if you've watched the previous videos, you'll recognize that a few celebrities and famous people have defined throat centers like Cat Williams and SZA. So she has a defined throat center, and that means that she has a reliable, confident voice, a captivating voice. She has a great way of communicating and getting her thoughts across. She has a great way of expressing and making things happen. She initiates things happening from her voice and just speaking from her songs. She's a great storyteller. She's got great leadership energy. She captivates her audience, and I don't know how it is when she runs across like fans or just people in her life, but with having a defined throat center, people tend to like to talk to you, especially people with undefined throat centers. So if she goes on tour and she's out and she mentioned this in the interview when she was on tour with Doja. She said she tried to go watch the show, and then like so many people were trying to talk to her. Now, of course, that's because she's famous. But if she recognizes in her personal life that just people like to talk to her and share a lot of intimate details really quickly and just tell them like their whole life story or whatever, that is because her throat center is defined, and it just makes people want to talk to her. So her fans may do that. She may recognize that. Also, she has a defined root center, and that means that she has constant, reliable energy and pressure to take action and initiate her ambitions, which I would say goes hand in hand with what she's doing, where she's at. I think it's really cool if you look at her body graph. You'll see that she has basically a straight line of definition from her throat center to her root center. Hold on one second. So one other thing that I think is really cool if you look at Ice Spice's body graph is that she basically has a straight line of definition from her throat center to her root center. It's not all connected. There is split definition, which means that it's not all a straight line of flowing energy, but each of those centers is defined, which is, I don't think that's very common in a lot of people. And so she has definition from her throat straight to her sacral, which means she has reliable, consistent energy to speak and manifest from her purpose and create and work from her purpose and manifest and bring all of that into fruition, which goes to show why it's so easy for her to just like be where she's at in life. And I mean, she's like super young. She's in her like early 20s, and she's a multimillionaire traveling the world. Like, she's got financial freedom. Her family's taken care of. Like, it's kind of crazy. It seems like she just blew up overnight. And so she was born to be that way. Like, her energy set it up for her to achieve that very easily as long as she was tuned in and tapped into herself. And so obviously she is. And also with being a manifesting generator, they move fast. They're very fast paced. Sometimes it's hard to keep up with them with how quickly that they move and think and operate. And they also flourish when they are in creative environments and environments with positive people around them. They have strong networks of people who care about them and can help them out. And she also mentioned, like, in her interview with Apple Music, that her and Riot just like happened to me and they just clicked, and that's just what it is. And so yes, she knew people that could like work with her very well and help her achieve the goals that she set for herself, and they can create like a great team, great partnership, and achieve great success together. And I couldn't find his information to see like what their charts look like in comparison, but I'm going to keep looking. Maybe it'll pop up one day. But I just wanted to tap into that a little bit and show how energy can really show you who you are if you are tapped in and tuned into yourself, and you care about what your energy looks like, and you really break down your centers and gates and see what the energy flow is looking like, the energy that you were born with, what the planets were doing when you were born. All of that comes into play with who you are and your happiness and alignment in life. And shout out to Ice Spice for being able to achieve alignment so young and success so young. And it was written in her energy the day she was born. So yeah, I think that's really cool. And also, so Ice Spice's profile is 2-4. And I haven't made a video about profiles yet, but it is to come. But, you know, she went on tour with Doja Cat earlier this year or earlier last year, whatever. And they both have the same exact profile. And Doja Cat is a generator, which means manifesting generator and generator, they pretty much have the same energy. And since they have the same profile, they have the same, also a very similar auras. And so they energetically are just very tapped in tune with one another without even like knowing that. So I think it's cool that Doja was able to like, I don't know, I guess they didn't really like know each other. She said in the interview, they didn't really know each other before the tour, but Doja Cat knew that she wanted to bring Ice Spice on tour with her because she liked her energy, she liked what she represented. And of course she liked what she represented because they have the same profile. They have very similar energy types. They think the same similarly. Their energy is very similar. They work very similarly. They create very similarly. And so I just think that's really amazing. I love like tapping into the different elements of human design and like digging deep and noticing things that are very similar and noticing things that are different and just finding the trends within human design. And I wanted to tap in and let you guys know about that. And so also the profile 2-4 is in alignment with profile 6-2, which happens to be Nicki Minaj's profile, and they collabed very early on in Ice Spice's career. And also Drake and Ice Spice basically like collabed and were intermingled very early on in her career. I think they said Drake was the one that like, you know, found her and gave Munch a thumbs up, and his profile is 5-1, and that's also very compatible with profile 2-4. So energy is very much so real, and we attract what we need and what's good for our energetic needs and happiness, and you can't doubt that. So human design is just proof of that. And that's pretty much all that I have for today about Ice Spice, but I did want to let you know I have an upcoming workshop about human design and relationships, and there's a raffle to win a free appointment with me, but you have to attend the live workshop to do so. So check out Eventbrite. And the details in the description box so you can get more about that. You can go to my website. Also, there is a free human design cheat sheet if you sign up for my email subscription list and go to my website, sabledanielle.com. Those details are also in the description box. And if you're ready to dive into your own human design or compare your human design to your partner, your parent, your best friend, your child, please book an appointment with me. I offer one-on-one coaching for individuals or couples, or just for comparisons of charts, or if you just would prefer to have a report, I offer personal energy reports, and those are also available on my website for purchase, sabledanielle.com. And thank you for being here. I'll catch y'all in the next episode. Peace.